I just zone everyone out and just eat. Ready? My name is Eidref Laxa. I'm an Ooni ambassador and I'm a home pizza maker, but I also do pop-ups and catering as well. And today we're gonna be making a Neapolitan pizza in the Ooni Volt 2 electric pizza oven. We're gonna be making the burning love, which is pepperoni, jalapeno, and strawberries. The pepperoni is gonna give it a nice, salty, delicious bite. The jalapeno is gonna give it some kick, and the strawberries are gonna give it that sweet and tangy extra note that every pizza needs. This oven is the perfect tool to make Neapolitan pizzas at home. It has a Neapolitan preset that with a touch of a button, using pizza intelligence, will get you up to 850 degrees, allowing you to make restaurant quality pizza. So let's get to it. Let's take a look at our dough. Wow, look at our beautiful dough. We've been fermenting this for about 48 hours. These look like they're full of air, ready for prime pizza making. So right now we'll go ahead and just scoop. I like to lift the dough a little bit and scoop one motion up. We'll go ahead and move our dough for now and sprinkle a little bit of semolina or dusting flour of your choice onto your counter. And before we continue, don't forget to put the lid back on your dough. It's easy to forget. You just don't want your beautiful dough to dry out. All right, so before I start stretching or topping, I wanna make sure that my oven is up to temp. By pressing the Neapolitan preset, your oven will go up to 810 degrees, which is an excellent temperature to cook Neapolitan pizzas. But if you're looking to bump it up a little bit, all the way up to 850 degrees, you can do so if you wish. Before I start making pizza, I try to make sure that the dough ball goes back to its round shape, because if you have a circular dough, your chances of making a circular pizza are much higher. What I like to do before pressing out my dough is looking for the middle section right here and pressing out the gas from middle to edge. And as you notice, the dough starts to puff up, which is great indication that there's a lot of CO2 and gas built up, which means good job on the fermentation there. When you feel like you've worked the crust enough, sometimes it starts to fight you back, and that's when it's telling you, turn me, and do the same thing on the other side. Working it from middle to edge, but what you want to look for is an even circle around the edges. But at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and take my pizza dough, lift it up, and start to stretch just the edges here. When I start to get it on my hands and do the little steering wheel motion, you'll notice that I'm actually just focusing on the outer edge of the pizza so that I'm not getting any thin spots and that middle section stays nice and flat and can support your toppings. You can also use the table to support your dough when it starts to get bigger, and really just let the table and the gravity work as a combo, alongside your hands of course, to really get that dough to the size and shape that you want. So we have our dough stretched yay big. I'm gonna go ahead and hold it and get some of this semolina off. We wanna make sure that we remove as much excess semolina as possible, because at high temperatures, like 810 degrees, it may lead to some burning. So we want to have as clean of a slate as possible, and if it's not 12 inches right away, that's totally okay. Let it relax, go ahead and give it a nice top, which we're gonna be doing now, and then we can do some final stretches at the end to get it to the size and shape that we want. So now that we have our base, we're gonna go ahead and add some sauce. Right here we have some San Marzano tomatoes, crushed up with a little bit of salt. One of the things I love about a Neapolitan pizza with a tomato sauce is you're really just flash cooking the tomatoes, and it's really gonna have a fresh taste to it. So using the best quality tomato that you can find is key here. Now we're gonna add some fresh mozzarella, which is pretty typical for Neapolitan pizza. We're using fior di latte here, which is essentially cow's milk, but you can use buffalo milk. And if you want, you can even get away with a little bit of aged whole milk mozzarella, but that's totally on you. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the mozzarella as is, but when we stretch the pizza out, we can then determine if we need a little bit more or even a little bit less. Next, we'll add some pepperoni. We're gonna add some jalapenos. I think pepperoni and jalapenos are the perfect combination. Pepperoni has a little bit of a spice kick to it, but not enough for my palate. Jalapenos really give it the spice and flavor that it deserves. And then lastly, we add strawberries. Because with my heavy hand with jalapenos, we need something to counterbalance the spice, add a little bit of sweetness to it, a little bit of tang, and a lot of bit of deliciousness. Now that we have our assembled pizza, we're gonna grab our peel and slide it underneath the pizza and give it one final stretch before launching it into the oven. One of the things that I always make sure to do is sprinkle some dusting flour onto the pizza peel And what I like to do is make sure that I have flour right here at the tip of the pizza peel so that when I slide the peel underneath the pizza, it doesn't really catch. It's best to do this in one quick motion. Try not to get nervous, and then I sort of just shimmy it on. Now that the pizza's on your peel, it's easy for you to stretch it out and reposition it as needed. It often moves when you're sliding the peel underneath the pizza, so don't worry if that happens. As I look at this oven here, it looks like it's at 811 degrees, which tells me pizza intelligence, it's doing its thing, maintaining the temperature of my oven so that it's always ready to go when I'm ready to bake. The one other thing I want to do before launching my pizza is ensuring that this pizza isn't sticking to the peel. And to do that, I just give it a little bit of shake. So our pizza's ready to go. What I like to do is get the peel in, aim, shimmy, and pull back nicely. Real smooth motion. Try not to jerk too much. Be gentle, be calm, breathe, and let it do its thing. Here we have the Neapolitan preset going on. It's at 809 degrees, but you're gonna notice that it's fluctuating up and down, and that's because of pizza intelligence. On the Neapolitan preset, we have a couple things going for us. One, obviously the temperature, but two, the oven is automatically pushing a ton of heat out from the top to ensure nice crisping of the crust, but also allowing you to get that beautiful leoparding that we all love and know about Neapolitan pizza. Let's take a look at the oven and see what's going on inside. Right off the bat, I see the cheese is melting, which is a great sign. Because of the high temperature, we're not baking this for too long, and the cheese is just gonna melt perfectly. It's not gonna dry out and get chewy. I can see that the crust is puffing up real nicely, which is a beautiful looking thing on a Neapolitan pizza. We're aiming for a 90-second bake. It's a really quick bake because of the Neapolitan setting. But even with a quick bake, the bottom is cooking off nicely, and the top is gonna have some nice leoparding spots. It's gonna be a beautiful pizza when we pull this one out. All right, I think it's done. Let's go take a look. Look at this beautiful pizza. Let's put it on the board and let's go chop it up. Let's take a look at the bottom. Nice. Look at this beautiful caramelized crust. So puffy. Pizza is a full-on sensory experience, from the sight to the smell to the sound, and now for the taste. But before we taste it, we gotta cut it up and put on some post-baked toppings. That crunch, let's go. The scissors are a must if you wanna see the beautiful structure of your crust. Look at that beautiful crust cross-section. You can tell that this dough has been fermenting for such a long time, building a lot of flavor and structure. It's soft and pillowy on the inside with a lot of air, but still got that crunch at the top. Now we add some fresh shaved Parmesan to give it a little bit of a salt hit. It really brings the pizza together, in my opinion. And the final piece, the hot honey. This is everything on this pizza. A little bit on the crust won't hurt either. Now these aren't traditional Neapolitan toppings, but this is my way of adding a California twist to it. Fresh strawberries, some spice from the pepperoni and the jalapenos. It's a balanced treat. Let's take a bite. Look at this beautiful pizza. Nice bottom, good browning on top, super light, super delicate. This flavor combination just works. Everything comes together. The salty from the pepperoni, the heat from the jalapeno, the sweetness from the hot honey and the strawberries. It's everything. But the reality is, this wouldn't be as good if it wasn't cooked in a high heat oven like the Ooni Volt 2. This crust is so good. Soft and pillowy, nice color to it. It tastes amazing. The crust is fire.